In this video today, I'm going to cover a lease agreement with the option to buy. What is a lease agreement with an option to buy? By the end of this video, you're going to discover how lease options can minimize your upfront costs, reduce risks, and give you control over property without immediate ownership, setting you up for success on this journey we call real estate. Are there ways to lure potential buyers out of the woods, even when the market is struggling? Have you ever felt like you need to change up your real estate investing strategy? If you do, stick with me as I break down the power of lease options by first explaining exactly what they are. Next, I'm going to cover how lease options can be an absolutely powerful strategy when it comes to real estate investing. And finally, I'm going to go over with you a strategy I've come up with that I'm doing right now that is crushing it in today's market called cash flow flipping. If you are ready, let's go. Essentially, a lease option is a longer-term lease with the option to buy. It is a rent-to-own strategy, and it gives you the ability to purchase a price at a certain date and at a certain price down the road. And within a lease option, there are certain components that are really important to understand to make this a successful real estate investing strategy. Number one is you have the lease. And just like any rental agreement, the lease is going to detail out the price and the terms of the lease length. It should also include the responsibilities of both the landlord and the tenant. However, the difference with the lease option versus a traditional purchase or just a rental agreement is with the lease option, the person buying the home, the buyer, has a desire to close on that home at a certain date down the road, and so the price and that date are negotiated up front and in the lease agreement. Also within a lease option, there is a clause where a certain percentage of the lease payment every month can be counted towards the down payment at the end of the lease. So it's a great way for a buyer to be able to accumulate a down payment over a 24-month, 36-month, or 12-month period of time. And because it's a lease option, because the buyer is taking this home off of the market and they're buying it at a certain date down the road at a certain price, they have to pay an option price up front to be able to do that. That option price gives them the right to buy that home at that price at a certain date down the road and take that home off the market. And that is usually that option price anywhere between 2 to 7% of the purchase price. So if you're looking at a home that's $200,000, you're looking at either $4,000 as an option up front up to $14,000 to be able to take that home off the market and give you the right to buy it at a certain date down the road. Now that we understand what a lease option is and the components within a lease option, let's talk about each party's role and what benefits them both as a buyer and as a seller. If you are the seller of this home, being able to sell it utilizing a lease option is going to do wonders for you as far as pulling potential buyers out of the woodwork off the sidelines. Because there's people sitting on the sidelines saying, I don't know if I want to buy a home right now in today's market, but they're willing to rent a home. And if they're willing to rent a home that they like and they could pay for it 2 years down the road when maybe the market resets or gets back to normal, that could be something very exciting for them. And so all of a sudden, you're giving a seller financing strategy available to potential homeowners or home buyers. Now, if you are a buyer, there's a number of different benefits afforded to you in a lease option. Number one, you get to test drive a home, right? You are leasing a home with the option to buy it 2 years down the road. And if you get into that home and you find out that there are a ton of things wrong with the home, you don't have to execute that option. Now, if you don't execute and you've paid that option money up front, you do lose that option money, but that's a better scenario than maybe getting into a home and buying it and finding out that there's a ton of problems that'll be a money pit for you. Also, as a buyer, it gives you the opportunity to accumulate enough money for a down payment down the road because of the option you paid up front, the option price, as well as the monthly amount coming back to you credited towards your down payment in part of the lease price every single month that you're paying. And typically, if somebody's paying $2,000 a month to lease a home, in a lease option, about 10% or $200 of that could be counted towards their eventual down payment. And if you look at $200, 24 months down the road, that's $4,800 that you are stashing away to be able to utilize for your down payment. Plus, if you're in a situation where your credit isn't as good as it could be, or you're trying to show enough income and you need a couple more years to show that, lease option is another great way to help you as a buyer. And there have been scenarios, if you think about it, you were getting the option to purchase a home at a certain date down the road, probably 2 years is a typical time frame. And look at this scenario. It happened in 2021 when a lot of people were doing lease options because it was just after COVID, people were unsure. And all of a sudden what happened from 2021 to 2022, prices skyrocketed. So people had an option to buy a home at a certain price down the road, and all of a sudden, the price that they had it under contract for was now maybe 30, 40% higher than that. There was a big situation even in Utah where a lot of people, they were in lawsuits because they were selling their home well below the current market value, but they had agreed upon it in a lease option a year before that. Now here's a strategy I'm doing right now with lease options that's working awesome called cash flow flipping. Here's how it works. I'm looking for homes in the Midwest that are below $100,000, and whatever they're listed at, I'm trying to get them 25 to 30% below their listing price. And because I'm doing that, I put 10 offers out there on different homes. I might get 1 or 2 of them accepted. And I'm utilizing private money, not my own, that somebody's borrowing to me at 8 to 12%. But let's just use the scenario of the worst case scenario, 12% that somebody's borrowing money to me. You might say, why are they willing to do that? Well, here's a home listed at $70,000. I've got it under contract for $50,000. The person's paid me $50,000. I buy the home. They now have an asset free and clear that they're in first position that appraises at $70,000. They're well below market value. If they needed to sell it in a flash, they could. Now, 12% of $50,000 is $6,000. I'm going to pay them an interest-only payment every single month, or $500 a month. $500 a month times 12 is $6,000. So they're making really good return on their money. And then I immediately turn around and I go list this home for sale at $70,000 and with the option to buy, rent to own. Now that's going to pull people off the sideline, as I mentioned. And if I get somebody under contract saying, listen, I'm willing to buy this home from you, rent it right now, and buy it 2 years down the road at $70,000. And I have all those components in place. They pay me the option price to do that. They pay me $2,000 to take it off the market for their right to buy it from me 2 years down the road at $70,000. And let's say that rent's $1,000 a month, and I'll take $100 of that rent every single month and count it towards the down payment. 100 times 24 is $2,400. They paid me $2,000 for the option price to buy it 2 years down the road. That's $4,400. Let's go to the end of this scenario where now they've accumulated $4,400 for their down payment. Let's say they find a bank that says, listen, if you put 5% down because you're going to be living in this home, you can buy it from me. 5% of $70,000 is $3,500. They have enough money baked in for their down payment. They purchased the home from me. They give me $70,000. I take that $70,000. I take $50,000 and I give it to the private money lender. That leaves me with $20,000. And every single month it's cash flowing. That's why it's called cash flow flipping, because I'm cash flowing every single month and I'm making cash at the end when I flip it. So if I'm paying $500 a month in an interest-only payment and I'm receiving a net of $900, I'm cash flowing $400 a month. 400 times 24 months is $9,600. Add that to the $20,000 I made. I'm making close to $30,000 over a 2-year period of time. And let's say I did 10 of these a year. If I were to do that 10 times every single year, and you can do it a lot more than that, I'm making close to $300,000 a year on this strategy. It's an amazing strategy. And if you want to know exactly how to do it step by step, click on this website below, cashflowflipping.com. You'll have access to my ebook, Cash Flow Flipping, that'll walk you through the process. And it's 100% free. Thanks for stopping by. Have an amazing day.